The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham Food Bank in Beckton, who supply sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.
Massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! 1, 2, 3, 4! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go!
Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. Let me press that button. Oh, I'll edit this bit out. Nobody cares anyway. Welcome to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining me. As usual, guys, please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're new around here. Hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. As always, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this endeavour. Last I looked, we was up to 711 subscribers. So, he's here. It's finally come to pass. All this talk, are we going to get a striker? Are we not going to get a striker? Is it going to be this guy? Is it going to be that guy? Finally, as you've seen on the thumbnail, and I've got another little photograph here, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we have signed from Borussia Dortmund, German international striker, and I'm probably going to have to get used to not calling him by the other name that I did, which reminds me, I probably need to do the old disclaimer. If adult language offends, please don't watch this. There you go. Done. Right. So, because obviously up to this point, I've been calling him by a less flattering name than his actual name, which is Niklas Fullkrug or Fullkrug. I don't know. I've never did German at school, so I really don't care. Niklas Fullkrug. We'll go with that. If anyone wants to tell me I'm pronouncing it wrong, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I was calling him Fuckrug, so I'm probably going to have to stop doing that because he's now one of our players. Probably I'll wait until he's skied it into row Z, and I'll probably call him it again. I'll revert to type. It is what it is. Exactly that, Sharky. Fuckrug. But he's in. We've got a striker. Maybe it's not the striker that we wanted. Maybe we wanted someone younger. Maybe we wanted someone more dynamic. But I got to be honest with you, the more I look into it, the more I think, actually, this is a really good signing for West Ham United. Sharky says, finally, we've got a striker. Hopefully so. And as Matt says, exactly that. He does look like a proper striker. Just a few things about who is Niklas Fullkrug. So I've got on the West Ham webpage here, and obviously it's announcing the signing of Niklas Fullkrug. He's on a 4-year contract. They've not disclosed the fee, according to the West Ham website. We can speculate. Maybe it's 20 million. Maybe it's 10 million. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. It's an undisclosed fee officially. But we've got him in on a 4-year contract. Now, he is a little bit of a throwback. He's not... I don't want to say he's Andy Carroll 2.0, but you get the point I'm making. He's not a small, mobile forward player like, say, a Jared Bowen or a Mohamed Kudus. This guy's slightly different. But obviously, another string to the bow. You know, we've got different sort of like tools that we can use depending upon the opposition. We've got Bowen that can play as a striker, Kudus that can play as a striker. We've got Ings that could play as a striker, Antonio that could play. But this guy's something different. And if you look at his record very closely, it's very, very impressive when you actually drill down into it. Now, to give you an idea, if you don't know, he started his career at Werder Bremen. He's been at numerous clubs over his career. He went away from Werder Bremen. He had a time on loan at a team called Gruther Fürth. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not. I didn't do German at school, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me. He ended up at Nuremberg as well. He had a spell at Hanover. He ended up going back to Werder Bremen. And this is where he linked up with a certain Tim Stuyten. And obviously, this is the guy that's now brought him back to West Ham. So it's come full circle. But after Werder Bremen, he had a season at Borussia Dortmund, where he obviously was part of a team that got to the Champions League final. Now, if you look at his records throughout his career in professional football, his record is 357 matches, 122 goals. I've done the maths. That is approximately, just off the top of my head, a goal every 2.92 matches on average thus far in his career. Pretty good going. However, when you look at his international record, my goodness, it's stunning. Absolutely stunning record. He's been an international for Germany for the last 2 years as a full international. He'd had caps before for the 20s, the 19s, and the 18s. But for the German national team, he has 13 goals in 21 matches. Ladies and gentlemen, that is better than a goal every other game. That in international football, that is superb. That is prolific beyond belief. This is an excellent signing. I mean, like I say, I was sort of like, I don't know, I'm not quite sure. Now he's in the building. Nicholas Fullkrug. There you go. I did it again. The fees reported, according to this other article I'm looking at, as I say, on the official site, it says it's an undisclosed fee. This says it's a reported fee of 27 million. Now, I don't know if that includes add-ons or whether there's add-ons that are extra, depending upon if he gets 20 goals in a season, for instance, which I doubt, but you never know. If he fires us towards a European competition, if we win a League Cup, FA Cup, I don't know. There's lots of different clauses that can be negotiated between the buying and the selling club. So it remains to be seen what the actual outlay will be as far as the complete transfer fee is concerned. But he's got a lot of experience. He's 31 years of age. Just having a little bit of a gen up. I also found a little interesting little piece of information. It's probably not very interesting, maybe to some of you, but I find these little nuggets of information quite amusing. He is the grandson of another German footballer. Not so well known. His name he's not dead, according to what I'm looking at, 74 years of age. And his name is Gerd Fullkrug. So his father was a professional footballer as well. But this guy, he's obviously come in. He's like I say, he's a different type of striker to what we've currently got. And as I say, he's got a really good record. As I say, goal just under a goal every 3 games. As I say, goal every 2.92 it works out to. But his international record is absolutely astounding. 13 goals in 21. Wow. Absolutely brilliant. Now, he's a bit of a hard case as well, from what I can see. Now, just some background information. He had an accident once upon a time on the Werder Bremen training ground, and he ended up in hospital with the tooth of one of his teammates wedged in his forehead. Can you imagine that? Sort of right there. He had one of his teammates' gnashers just right there. So he's also got a nickname. Now, again, I didn't do German, so I don't know the pronunciation. I don't know if it's Lucky or Luke or whatever. It's spelled Lucke, and it's got the 2 little dots above the U. Now, apparently, it's German for gap, because you might have noticed on some of the photographs that you've seen of him, he's got a gap in his front teeth. So there you go. Just a little bit of useless information for you. If anybody sort of like wants to get a little bit of also an insight into his international pedigree, cast your mind back to the Euros. He obviously got a couple of goals there. He scored. He came on as a substitute in the 63rd minute in the opener against Scotland. Germany obviously beat them 5-1. He scored 5 minutes after coming on as a substitute. It was a banger, shall we say. I think is the modern terminology. Screamer in my day, I think, is what you would call it. He also scored in the game against Switzerland, which was the last group stage match, which was an equaliser in stoppage time, which effectively secured the progress into the knockout phase for Germany at the Euros, which was obviously the tournament that they hosted. But yeah, I mean, he's, like I say, I think this is a good signing. I think this is a really good signing. As I say, not prolific in terms of league football. For me, my definition of prolific, in this might be really pedantic of me, my definition of prolific is about a goal every other game merchant. He's not quite at that level, but he's not far short of it. But internationally, as I say, he's had 13 goals, in 21 international matches for the German national team, 2 of which he got at Euro 24. But let me know what you think. I'm going to just refer back to the comments now, because I've been rabbiting on like an excited budgie. And talking of budgies, I can see we've got one in the chat. Luke, hope you are well. We've got 13 people that are watching live. And as I look on YouTube, only 6 likes. So those 13 of you that haven't dropped a like on the stream, could you please make sure you do that? Because I can't tell you how much of a help that is to the channel. It makes sure that the algorithms get moving in a certain direction, and it will push the content of the channel out to West Ham fans, or maybe just general football fans that might be curious. So I know it sounds like a simple thing. It costs nothing. It literally takes a second, but it makes a huge, huge difference, as I say. So if the guys that are watching this that haven't given a thumbs up, if you could do that before you disappear, I'd really, really appreciate it. Luke says, I know a little German. His name is Klaus. Very funny, Luke. Very funny. We can always rely upon you for a little bit of humour, and I do mean a little. Matt says, with a missing tooth, he ain't scared of battling with centre halves. Well, you've just heard the story about the tooth of an ex-teammate of his that got wedged into his forehead and he ended up at hospital. Bit of a tough nut by the sounds of it. Iggy's in the chat. He says, Giroud is still knocking him in at 37. Yeah, I mean, look, we've got this guy on a 4-year deal by all accounts. So he'll be 35 when the contract comes to an end. If he's still at the club, of course, you don't know what's going to happen. Football's a funny old game, as someone once said. But as you rightly say there, Olivier Giroud, very underrated player, 37 years of age. He's still scoring goals. He's still operating at a very high level. Matt comes in, says, that's incredible. And Germany didn't have a great team at the Euros, in his humble opinion. No, I think that they haven't had a really good team for some time, probably since 2014 when they won the World Cup, in all truth. Luke comes in, says, decent team, Matt, just 8 years ago. I'd probably say 10 years ago. It's probably even further back than that, to be truthful, Luke. And his sister's a footballer. Yes, I've got that piece of information here as well. His sister, Annalena, she plays as a striker for Hanover. And as I say, his grandfather also played football for SV Armenia Hanover. So the family has a connection to the Hanover. He was actually born in Hanover, in point of fact. And he did actually have a 3-year spell at Hanover. 6'2", as I say, he's a bit of a target man, but he's a bit more than that. Besides, he's not just a sort of like a blood and guts centre forward in the old school mode. He's a bit of a hybrid, if you will. Let's go back to the live chat. Sharky says he looked good when he saw him playing during Euros. Yeah, as I say, he got that screamer up against Scotland and obviously the equaliser against Switzerland in the last group game. Budgie, hope you're well. Afternoon, Rob. So we've signed our very own Holland then. Well, time will tell, Budge. Time will tell. I'm not expecting him to be quite as prolific as that. But as I say, if he can replicate what he's done so far in his career, which is score a goal just short of every 3 games, he won't be doing too bad. Stop and think about it. 38 games. So what's that? He's got on that basis. If he carries on that sort of run, that sort of ratio, then he's going to get about 12, 13 Premier League goals. Now, okay, we've not had a striker that scored 20 goals or more in a top flight season since Tony Cottee in 1987. But if he managed to come in and get 12 to 13 Premier League goals, maybe he'll get more, maybe he won't get as much, but somewhere in and around that, we'll be doing all right. And don't forget, we're also going to get people chipping in with goals from elsewhere around the pitch. We're still going to have Bowen on the right. We're still going to have Somerville on the left, another new addition that Tim's brought in. We're going to have Kudus playing just off of them. He's going to be buzzing around. You're going to have Paquetá pulling the strings. This is a really, we're starting to put the pieces together now. The pieces of the jigsaw are starting to fall into place. Offensively, we're now looking tip top when we've got everybody available, and even the sort of like the strength in depth going into the bench, because you think about it now. So Antonio's now on the bench. Ings is on the bench. Now, okay, I know maybe you could turn around about Ings and say he ain't all that, but he offers something different off of the bench. It's another, and maybe he's going to find a little bit of positivity with the new style of play that is going to be implemented by the new manager. I think now we need to turn our attention. I think now it needs to be a couple of defenders that we're getting in. I think a right back and a centre back is key. You may have seen my video earlier where I asked the question. There has been out in the media, I think it was on the West Ham Zone, there was a report that was put out that was making a possible connection between West Ham United and the former Borussia Dortmund teammate of Nicholas Fullkrug, of Mats Hummels. Whether it happens or not, whether it's just paper talk or website talk, I don't know. As in theory, it would probably be a decent signing. Obviously, at 35, most people's reaction is to say he's too old. However, as I said in the video this morning, which if you haven't seen it, please go back and have a look, I made the point that it's the same age that Chelsea signed Thiago Silva, who they got 4 years of service out of. And if you talk to any of the Chelsea fans, they'll tell you what a superb servant he was in that time. And don't forget, in his first season there, he won the Champions League. Now, we're not going to win the Champions League this season. That's not going to happen. But I'd sort of asking the question of whether that's possibly a route we might want to go down. But have a look at that video if you haven't already, and make sure you get your comments in on that particular topic. Just to sort of take it on a step further. So Iggy says, I thought that his nickname might have been Carpet Burns. Well, it could well be. I mean, you know, like I say, I've been calling him Fuck Rug up to this point, and that's probably a little bit unkind of me, a little bit rude and whatever. But now we've signed him, I'm probably going to have to be a little bit more polite and behave myself a little bit more like fuck. Sharky is saying hello to Budgie, and yep, they're just having a little exchanging some pleasantries. Please keep getting your question, your thoughts in. Any questions that you've got? If you want to sort of ask any questions of me while I'm here, I will happily try and answer them. Trudge, hope you will. Guido is going to be our best signing, I think. Yeah, he hopefully, if that's announced, I have a suspicion. I was listening to, I think it was Gio on Hammer's Chat, and he knows a lot more about this shit than I do, to be brutally honest. He's been doing it for longer than me, and he sort of probably has a few contacts behind the scenes. And he made the point about nowadays it's all to do with engagement with social media platforms and all that bollocks. And he reckons that it will probably be that the Guido Rodriguez signing may well be done in terms of all of the paperwork and all of the sort of like the other due diligence, if you will. It's just that because of the way that the social media world operates, you may find that they don't release the official unveiling until tomorrow. And Trojal goes on to say, same as Dawson was for $2.5 million. Yeah, because of course Guido Rodriguez will be coming in on a free. So that could be an absolutely brilliant bit of business. Take it that is probably in reference to me asking for people to just put a like on the stream. I know I'm a bit of a ponce. I know I sort of wind people up by asking the question, but honestly, you probably, if you don't operate in this realm, you may not appreciate just what a massive difference just clicking the thumbs up actually does to a YouTube channel. Like I say, it just helps the algorithms. I'm not a technical bod, so I don't know how it works. I really don't know, but apparently putting the like on the stream is what pushes it to certain places. And then obviously when it pops up on people's phone, they might even hit subscribe. That's the hope anyway. So Matt turns around and says, get his sister over to sign for West Ham's ladies team. Last time I watched them, mate, they weren't doing very well. They weren't doing very well at all last I looked. But the only way is up, isn't it? Luke says, I'm not expecting goals as such, but link up play with our pace boys. Again, you know, like I say, he is going to bring those players around him. Somerville, Bowen, Kudus, Paketar. He is going to sort of play off of them. He's going to get goals himself, but he's also going to get assists into the bargain. And just talking about assists, because I'm just going to have a little look here and see if I can find that information. So in the Bundesliga, he's played 157 matches in his career, 56 goals, 18 assists, which translates at a goal every 183 minutes. Now, again, you look at that. So that paints a picture that in the Bundesliga, he actually scored a goal pretty much every other. No, it's 108. Yeah, 183 minutes. So obviously, he wouldn't have been starting every single game. He would have been coming off in some games. So in terms of minutes per goal, it translates as a goal every other game. Obviously, in reality, 56 goals in 157 games. Again, it's roughly 1 in 3, there or thereabouts. My maths isn't the best, but it's going to be around that sort of number. So just having a look here. So we've got some more sort of pleasantries being exchanged. But assuming he's got 1 in 3 and don't take penalties. I don't know, in point of fact. Did Germany have a penalty at the Euros? I'm trying to think now. And he obviously didn't score a penalty. As I say, they were both from open play to the best of my recollection. I'm not sure if he is someone that takes penalties, in all truth. I don't have that information, and unfortunately I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge, despite what you might think this is an illusion. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Really, I haven't a fucking clue. I'm reading it all off the internet. But there you go. Don't tell anyone. They'll never know. Anyway, he goes on to say that penalty padding is huge. Matt says, just need AWB, so Aaron Wan-Bissaka in short version, and maybe another central defender. Absolutely. I think they're the 2 signings that we need, Matt. If we can get those 2 positions sorted, even if it's just one of the 2. Personally, I think the priority for me would probably be at right back. It's a toss-up. If we could only get one more in, then it would need to be a defender. Obviously, we're assuming that Guido Rodriguez is going to be announced tomorrow. That's the commonly held belief, but we'll wait and see. But yes, beyond that point, I would suggest AWB, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Andre? Where the bloody hell did Andre come from? Fucking Andre the Giant? I don't know. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka would be a good acquisition at right back. I know people say he has his limitations going forwards, but at the end of the day, he's a defender. Surely his first job should be to defend, shouldn't it? It's not really much good if you're a defender and you can't fucking defend. Something seriously wrong. It's a bit like having a striker that doesn't know how to put the ball in the back of the net. Mind you, we've had a few of them down the years, to be fair. But yeah, a central defender would be a good shout. I mean, as I say, I mentioned earlier, Mats Hummels, whether that's realistic or not, whether that's even something that we would endorse as a fan base or not, who knows? But another central defender to partner Max Kilman, I think, would be good. I'm not convinced that the defenders that we've got, either because of fitness, because of their general ability, or because of what they bring to the table, whether they're a good fit for Kilman. And as I say, I think that Aguirre is the best of the rest, if you will. He may even actually be our best technical defender, even including Max Kilman. But let's face it, we've spent 40 million quid on him. He's going to start. So it's just a question of who's going to partner him. Zuma, no chance. And as I say, the club yesterday, it would appear that they've told him that he can fuck off down the Kermit. We've also got Mavropanos. He's a good squad player, but really, are you really going to have him as your mainline central defender for potentially 38 Premier League games? There's a reason why he left Arsenal, as far as I'm concerned, and it's because he's not that good. He doesn't operate at that level, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm just saying what I think. But there you go. I'd like to see another central defender in as well as a right back, especially in the VAR world. Trodge, good point. Matt says, saw him take a few pens from the footage that he watched earlier. Okay, so we've got a little bit of insight there from Matt. He does take penalties. Now, who have we got that takes penalties? It would be Paquetá, wouldn't it? So I'm not entirely convinced that Paquetá is going to concede ground to Nicholas Fullkrug, but it's an option. It's an option if ever Paquetá isn't a West Ham player, or he's just on the bench, or he's injured, or it's a penalty shootout. Who knows? We might need more than one person that's able to take penalties. So that would be quite handy. Luke says, Hummels is older than Rocks. As I say, he's 35 years of age. Thiago Silva was the same age when he went to Chelsea. He gave them 4 years of good service. Just because he's 35 doesn't mean to say that he hasn't still got something to offer. That's my opinion on it. Now, whether that could potentially happen because maybe the finances, maybe he's looking towards Saudi Arabia, maybe he doesn't want to continue his football career. I don't know. I've not spoken to him, but I'm just putting out there, as I say, there is a story out there in the public domain. I'm pretty sure it was on West Ham's Own. You can go and see the article yourself. And I've seen that article and I just made a video off of it. Just wanted to get opinions of the people that's out there, like yourselves. And Matt says exactly what he says there. Silva was mustard. Exactly that. So he did quite well. So if he comes in, let's just for argument's sake, let's play devil's avocado. Could he come in and could he be our answer at centre-back? Who knows? Quite possibly. Sharky says, Hummels has been a very good centre-back. Not sure in him now, though. Again, I'm guessing that probably the reason you're saying that is probably something to do with his birth certificate, though, Sharky. Ageist. I didn't think... We're not allowed to do that these days. That's what I thought. Budgie says, just look at Dawson, age versus usefulness. Could we re-sign Dawson, I ask myself. I think it's unlikely. Epic, hope you're well. We'll have another huge rebuild ahead of us if we keep signing these 30-year-olds. Well, who else have we signed that's sort of that side of 30? Somerville's 22. Obviously, there's Rodriguez. He's 30, I believe. We've got, who else? Fotheringham, but he's not going to fucking play. Let's be completely honest about it, unless something's gone drastically wrong. Who else have we signed? Remind me. There is it'll come to me later. Guilherme. Well, he's 18. So look, and you can't have every single player, Epic. You can't have every single player that's going to be 25 years of age, give or take. So, at some point you need to get a bit of experience in, don't you? Luke says he's dusting off his boots. Trodge says the right blend is important. Exactly that. You need a little bit of youth, but you also need a little bit of experience to go hand in hand with that. Sharky says, do you think Lopetegui knows the West Ham way? Well, I guess we're going to find out in the fullness of time. Apparently, the previous manager, who had been with the club in 2 separate spells, and over those 2 separate spells, had amounted of roughly 5-year time at the club. And in all that time, he didn't know what the West Ham way was. And apparently neither did John Lyle. What a load of bollocks. Mr. Singleton says, X put up an X up with... I'll be honest with you, mate. I'm 48 years of age, mate. I've got no idea about half of these things. I'll be perfectly honest with you. These texts and emojis and all that shit. We used to sign 40-year-olds, brackets, Sheringham, so we are improving. Exactly. So compared to where we were when we were signing Teddy again, I don't think he was 40, though. I think he was about 38 when he came in, and I think he was about 40 when he left. But he did a cracking job for us. Okay, most of that work that he did, a lot of that was in the Championship, not the Premier League, but he still did okay in the Premier League. My dog's just barking. I do apologise. My dog's just gone into one. I do apologise. You can hear her. There she is, barking away while I'm trying to do a live stream. Fantastic. This is what happens when you're doing live on YouTube. Matt says, more than Moyes does Sharky. Exactly that. Exactly that. Budgie comes in and says, the ladies made a huge mistake letting Alicia Lehman go. We had arguably the best ladies player in the world. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. She might be very pleasing on the eye, but I don't think that she's arguably the best ladies player, in my opinion. You clearly disagree, and that's fine. Not a problem. Her stats were amazing, Budgie. You little pervert, I know exactly what you're talking about. You are talking not about her footballing ability. You're talking you're looking at her ass and her tits. I know you are. You're a pervert. Stop it. You'll go blind. How old was Zabaleta? I think he was about 34. Trodge. I think about 34, give or take. And he did all right for us for the first year or two. Started to peter out as the sands of time started to take their toll. There you go. See, there we go. Lowering the tone as usual, Budgie. You absolute pervert. You were looking at her ass as well. Same as Luke. You're a pair of fucking perverts. Luke says, do I swap Fullkrug for Tony in his fantasy football? You may well do. I mean, all these things that you got to make a decision, mate. I mean, but if it's your fantasy football league, do you vote with your head or do you vote with your heart? And that's the decision you've got to wrestle with. Luke says Andre the Giant at right back would be amazing. I don't know how to break this to you. He died about 30 years ago. And even if he was still alive, I don't think he'd be terribly mobile. Just saying, a nippy left winger, he'd be fucked. Better as a striker, Luke. Well, yeah, I suppose if you had Andre the Giant just standing on the centre spot, 7'5", allegedly, I don't think he was in actual fact. But of course, he operated in the world of the World Wrestling Federation as it was, and they always tend to sort of beef things up and make things a little bit bigger and stronger than what they actually are. I don't know how to tell you this, people. It's not real. The results are predetermined. Sorry to break it to you. Trodge says, get him to lie on the goal line. Again, he could possibly be a goalkeeper. There'd be fuck all that would get past him. But again, he's dead. Lack of pace, but what a target, man. Again, I don't really know how to respond. I just wouldn't want him to come up against Hulk Hogan. Yeah, well, that doesn't work for me, brother. Just saying. Adrian, hope you're well, mate. Think we will start slowly next season as the team gels, but has the makings of another European adventure. My concern is, are we going to potentially have a start to the season like Manuel Pellegrini did? Those of you that may remember the start that he had, he lost his first 4 games. I can't remember. I think it was Liverpool away. I'm going completely off the top of my head here. I'm pretty sure it was Liverpool away and we got absolutely tonked. And then it was, I think, Bournemouth at home, Arsenal away, and then Wolves at home. I think it was in that order. I'm pretty sure they're the teams. And we lost 4 games back to back. That's not the season we went into a relegation sort of spiral. That was the following year. We actually managed to recover things that season. But I don't want to have 4 games down the track in the Premier League and we're looking at 0 points on the board. That would be. I'm not saying I think we're going to go down. I really don't. I think that's a stretch, but I think you're right. I think that a lot of these guys are going to need, and this is why I would have actually preferred the business to have done a little bit more swiftly. But we are where we are. We're not where we want to be, and we're just going to have to make the best of it. Budgie says Wan-Bissaka is keen on the move to West Ham, according to some sources, and according to other sources, he's not. It's just a case of who you believe. And even if he isn't keen on a move to West Ham, look, at the end of the day, I'm a big believer in the old saying, money talks, bullshit walks. Matt says, just mutually terminate Zuma's contract and use the saved wages on someone else. The problem is, Matt, is that would require Kurt Zuma to agree to that termination. You used the word mutually. The problem is we might want it, but he might turn around and go, I'll just sit on my contract, thanks. And that's happened many times. Do you remember Winston Bogard at Chelsea? he did exactly the same thing. They tried to get rid of him. And he just turned around and said, nope, I'm going to come to training every day. If you need me, I'm here. If you don't, which you clearly don't, then I'll just take my wages and I will go home. And his contract ran out. And at the end of that contract, he retired. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zuma does the same. And to be fair to him, as a West Ham fan, I hope he fucks off pretty damn lively. In reality, I wouldn't blame him if he just sort of said, you signed me on a contract. I passed the medical. And that's something I have to question. What the fuck was the medical when Zuma walked through? Because his knees weren't in great shape. I'm guessing that again, miles on the clock have taken their toll with him. But as far as he's concerned, he was a fucking injury-prone wreck when he walked through the door. So how the hell we actually sort of signed him, I beggars belief, honestly. Early Doors, hope you are well, says, evening, Rob, pleased with the signing. I am. I got to be honest with you. At first, I was a little bit reluctant. I was a little bit apprehensive and maybe a little bit of the thought that if we get him in at 31 years of age, from a business point of view, from the resale value point of view, we're not really going to get anything at 31 years of age, because even if he stays for 2 years at 33, we're not going to get our money back. It's an undisclosed fee according to the official website, but if you look on Wikipedia, they quote £27 million. I don't know if that includes add-ons or not. But we're not getting anything like that money back if we sell him in 2 years, for example. We'll probably get, I don't know, depending upon how he's doing, maybe 15, maybe 18. I don't know, but we're not going to make our money back. Whereas if we'd have got in John Duran, maybe if he'd have hit the ground running, maybe in 2 years, not only do we get our money back, we actually get the money back with interest. A few little pleasantries that are exchanged. Luke says, didn't Andre Aaron? I keep calling him fucking Andre. Where is all this talk about Andre the Giant? Maybe we should just call him Andre? Andre Wan-Bissaka. Does that sound better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka? I think Aaron's a bit of a crap name, and I'm sorry for any Aarons out there, and I know there'll be one watching, and his ears have just pricked up. Sorry, I do apologise, but it is what it is. I mean, look, Rob's a crap name, isn't it? You could turn around and say that's not a problem. I don't mind. I didn't pick my name. It was given to me. So we'll go with Andre Wan-Bissaka. That sounds a bit more sexy, doesn't it? You've got sort of like that Gallic flair. Andre Wan-Bissaka. No, it just doesn't work, does it? He played a friendly and pulled up. Yes, that he apparently sustained an injury, but I've heard since then apparently it was a facial knock. I'm not convinced that it was sort of like a hamstring or anything like that. But I guess we'll find out. A few little pleasantries being exchanged. Paquetá and Kudus for penalties. Yeah, Paquetá's the main penalty taker. I thought after him, it was Bowen, to be honest with you. Luke Legend, yeah, he did, but don't think it was too serious. Pitts, how you doing? He's 35, knows how to defend, but more importantly, is free. And that's in reference to Mats Hummels. As I say, there's 30 of you watching. If you haven't seen the video that I put out earlier on today, where I asked a question about Mats Hummels, please go back and have a look at it. 30 of you watching, 31 of you watching now. If you could just put a like on the stream, we've got 18 likes at the minute. Those extra likes will help the channel. Really do appreciate it. Again, a few little pleasantries being exchanged amongst the rank and file. He's a year younger than me, you young pup. Guilherme, yes, that was the one. I was running it through my brain and I couldn't think. Yes, it was the Guilherme. Guido is 30 plus, I think. I think he was exactly 30. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go off on a tangent, and I'm just going to have a little look at the oracle that is known as Wikipedia. And Guido Rodriguez, he turned 30 in April, just gone. 12th of April is his birthday. So he is exactly 30 years and however many days. A few more little pleasantries. He's off to have a shower and go and play darts. Double top. Is it trebles for show, doubles for dough, Budge? That's the one, isn't it? So 20. I'm guessing that's Kilman. Yeah, I believe he's 20. Let me just again. I'm going to check. I'm going to do a little bit of a fact check. Max Kilman. He is indeed 27. 23rd of May 1997. 6'4", born in Chelsea. He had a bit of time at Gillingham, which is a club quite close to where I live. And then he had another bit of time at Welling United, which again is quite close to where I live. Yes, he is indeed 27. You are completely correct. Luke goes on to say, make sure you do it the right way round, Budge. Don't want another incident. Not again. Call the ambulance. West Ham United will be a team full of boomers and Gen Zs. They may well, Iggy. You are completely correct. Early Doors says, even she's pleased with the signing, Rob. Is she? Happy days. Happy days. Listen, I gave the disclaimer earlier, Sharky. If you weren't here, if you missed the memo, that is not my problem. But just for you, there you go. You know how this rolls. I don't muck about. I just sort of say what I think, and I think what I say. And I don't mean to offend people, but it is what it is. Vic Watson. Now that's interesting. Created a new account just to subscribe. So have I got I've got 2 extra subscribers since I hit start stream. We've gone from 711 to 713. We are on our way to 800. Fantastic. And I appreciate that, Vic Watson, coming back from the dead, our record goal scorer with 326 career goals for the club. What breed of dog do I have? She is a Levitt Bulldog, which most people have never heard of. When they see my Winnie walking around the street, they invariably think that she is a boxer, and she is not. A Levitt Bulldog, and it's spelt Leavitt. Rob Singleton says he would clothesline them. I'm pretty sure that would be a red card offence. Don't have to be alive to lie on the goal line. Yeah, I suppose you could. I mean, I don't know. Was he cremated? Did they? I mean, his body would be a little bit. It'd basically be worm food by now, wouldn't it? Not quite sure you'd want to dump that on the goal line. But then again, having said that, you imagine you've got this 7'5", 525-pound corpse that's about 30 years been decomposing, and you've got that on the goal line. No one would want to fucking go near it. That's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Absolutely brilliant. Mr. Spraggs, hope you are well. Fuck Rug is a hammer. He is. You're right. Good news. We finally got him in. We finally got a number 9 to bang the ball in the onion bag. Luke says we've improved the first 11 and squad, but the top 10 in the Prem is incredibly competitive. I think we're making top 10 easily. I don't see us not being in the top half of the table for the 4th time in 5 seasons. Whether we're going to be in the European shake-up remains to be seen. I hope so. And I think that if the manager can get the signings that he wants and get them to really embrace his philosophy, his way of playing, because I do think that there is a bit of a hangover from 4 or 5 years of playing the David Moyes way, that a lot of the players it's so ingrained in their DNA that they're finding it difficult to assimilate, to acclimatize, to calibrate themselves. But it will come in time, I'm sure. Trod says, Wan-Bissaka got a head injury. There you go. I thought it was facial or head or whatever. So we'll wait and see. At least it's not a broken leg. Sharky says he remembers Bogard. He was on 40k a week. Now, again, nowadays, that doesn't sound like a lot of money. But he was, 20 years ago, 25 years ago? That was a lot of money back then. I mean, that would probably be the equivalent now to, I don't know, a 250,000, 300,000 pounds a week player, and he literally just wound his contract down. And I guess it's not his fault if he's not getting selected for whatever reason. He was fit, he was able to play, they just didn't select him. So he just went, okay, that's fine, not a problem. And they're going to him, we'll pay up your contract. Do you want to fuck off? In fact, I don't know if they would pay up his full contract. Probably he'd have to take a hit on it. But he went, no, that's fine. I'll just sit here and I'll just take the money. And to be fair, why should he lose out? You know, that they both signed a contract, so it works both ways. Knocked some sense into him, possibly. Matt says, I saw Fullkrug's injury record, which wasn't so great. That is one other concern that I've got. He has had a few little time away from the pitch. So, yeah, that's something that I'm a little bit concerned by. But we'll wait and see how it unfolds, Matt. Worried we might pull the plug on that alone. Well, he's obviously gone through the medical, and I just hope and pray that it's a more diligent medical than when Kurt Zuma walked through the door, because I'm not entirely convinced that medical had all the bells and whistles, if you catch my drift. Matt goes on to say it was just a slight lock trodge, nothing serious. And Luke is a total child. I do apologize. Andre Wan-Bissaka, we are rechristening if we sign him. So we've got Fullkrug and we've got Andre Wan-Bissaka on his way, hopefully. We've got to come up with a nickname for Guido Rodriguez, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really sort of lend itself to any sort of obvious nickname, I guess. Matt says, at least you didn't call him Andre Villas-Boas like another West Ham channel kept doing. Is that right? I must have missed that. Although actually, no, I think about it. I think I might know who you mean, but I'm not going to name them because I don't think that would be fair. But I think I know what you're talking about. Andre and Fullkrug. What a team. What a team they would be. Top six is Matt's prediction. Sharky says, lost. Oh, Sharky. Oh, my word. I'm sorry to hear that. That is terrible. And I know that because about a year and a half ago, those of you that remember me from my previous channel that I used to be on will know that I had a French bulldog that we lost Christmas before last. And I still miss her terribly. Fourth or fifth would be nice. Fourth, Jesus Christ, that's Champions League. Fifth is Europa League. Either way, it's European football. Fantastic. Missed your joke. I'm going to wind back. No, you're right. It has gone over my head, Trodge. I don't know which one was the joke. I think are you talking about the one where he's got a head injury, so maybe he's now interested. Yeah, I did get it. I didn't need to read it again. I did get it. I just sort of shrugged it off. What can I say? Stephen says, hit the like button, everyone. The bloke fully deserves it. That's very kind of you to say. I'm not quite sure fully deserves it. Maybe halfway. Maybe sort of like 60-70% deserves it. I don't know. But talking of that, there's 27 of you that are currently watching. And as we speak on YouTube, I've got 22 likes. So by my maths, there's 5 of you at least that haven't put the thumbs up. Come on, where are you? 714 subs as well. We're on the move. Early only one got it. Listen, don't worry. As he says there, great minds thinks alike. Matt Rainey, he's a new sub and he loves the channel. Welcome. I'm glad you do. And please don't forget to get involved in any of these discussions. Don't be shy. You've put your head above the parapet. I've not bit your head off. And even if you're ever going to come in and tell me something I disagree with, I will articulate my point. You will articulate your point, and we'll be adults about it. And we'll agree to disagree and part ways. Not a problem at all. But thanks for coming along. I do appreciate it. If you've got any West Ham friends, tell them we're here. If you've got any social media platforms, maybe consider giving the channel URL or one of the streams a share on your Facebook, your Twitter. They call it X now, don't they? Instagram, TikTok, all these good things. It would help tremendously. But the starting point is always to put the thumbs up on the streams. We got Sean Hammond in. How you doing, Sean? Hope you're well. Regarding penalties, think Somerville also takes them. And you're also a new subscriber, by the way. Again, same thing for you, Sean. Appreciate you coming along. Make sure you tell your friends. Make sure you've subscribed, which you said you have. Don't forget to like this stream and hit the notification bell and see if you've got any social media platforms. Share our bits and pieces onto your social media platforms from time to time. And that way, maybe if you've got any of your mates who are West Ham fans, they'll be alerted to our presence here and it all helps. A few little pleasantries being exchanged amongst the new people and the existing ones. It's all good. We're all one big happy family. Look at all this. They're sharing the love. Look, they're all kissing and making up, and they're all inviting each other round for dinner. Troj then comes in and sort of stops this bravity and says that Fullkrug has scored 27 penalties. Has he indeed? So he's a little bit tasty with the pens. Although I would have to ask a question. How many has he taken? Because if he's taken 27 penalties, if he's taken 27, scored 27, that's outstanding. If he's scored 27, but he's taken 100, now it's a little bit less impressive. I don't know. Let's get a little bit more detail on that if you can, Troj. Really would appreciate it. A few more little pleasantries just being exchanged. At least we know you're modest, Rob. Listen, what can I say? I don't want to be too big-headed because I've got to get out of that door later. And, if my head's too big, then it might be difficult. You know what I mean? Have to get the old goose fat on it and sort of, slide through. So is that it for signings, you reckon? No, I think there's more coming. I think there's at least... I think Guido Rodriguez is done, and I believe that's going to be announced tomorrow from what I've been led to believe. As I say, Gio from Hammers Chat referenced that, and again, he knows far more about the inner workings at West Ham and social media and all that than I do. I'm a 48-year-old guy. I'm not an ITK. I am just a regular fan who just every now and again sits in front of a webcam and spouts a load of shit. But he reckons that the Rodriguez thing is done. The medical's done. The paperwork's done. Probably a lot of the photographs and the video pieces that go out are done. It's just a question of the club actually putting out onto the club website, bang, here he is, it's signed. So if we say that he's a done deal as well, and that's just going to be announced and the due diligence and all the rest of it, that's done, then the next two, I think we need at least one, more likely two, and that's a right back and a central defender. Troj says he scored 1 in 3 from open play. Yes, that is correct. What is one in his career? As I say, I did the maths earlier. It's a goal every 2.92 matches throughout his career. I think it was. Let me just wind back, and I can actually tell you the exact numbers, which I had earlier. In his career, he's got 122 career goals in 357 career matches. That doesn't include internationals, however. Those are a separate entity. And in that realm, he's got 13 goals in 21 matches. Now, that's far better. That's far better than a goal every other game, let alone his career record in league football of a goal every 2.92. That's even better. I mean, I'll tell you what, just for sort of because I can, and it'd be quite interesting to know the ratio at which he scores internationally. And my maths is not the best. You might have already worked it out, but I haven't. So I've got to put it into this calculator. That's a goal every 1.615 match, 1.62. So in international football, he's got a goal every 1.62 matches is his ratio. In league matches, in competitive football, League Cup, European tournaments, whatever, it's a goal every 2.92. I like these little statistical bits and bobs. It's good fun to drill into. Stephen says he'll get the lads at work to subscribe. Listen, if they don't like it, you're going to get an awful lot of stick, but you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, go on. Tell them. It's fine. And even if they don't watch, even if they just subscribe, as I say, I can't lie to you. I'm a little bit of a competitive animal. We're on 714 now. The next waypoint for me is, I guess, 750, sort of, I suppose it could be 800, but ultimately, everybody that starts a YouTube channel wants to get to 1,000 because at that point the channel's monetized. Now, even when it's monetized, I'm going to earn fuck all out of this. I'll be perfectly honest with you. StreamYard costs a few bob to sort of run, and StreamYard is what we use to run the stream. So I'm never going to be West Ham fan TV. I'm never going to be Arsenal fan TV. I'm never going to be Hammers Chat, and that's fine. I'm perfectly cool with that. I just do what I do. When I do it, I'm happy, and we move on. Great family community here to support each other. Exactly that. And if I may, and I did this a little bit earlier, although not on this one, for those of you that don't know, Early Doors Football TV, he's got his own channel. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do as a little bit of a professional courtesy, if you just bear with me, I will put in the chat subscriptions. Let me just have a look. What I will do is I will share this with you guys. Early doors football. There you are. Right. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to really quickly hit present so that you good people in the chat, if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, Early Doors Football TV, then that is where you need to head to. And what I'm also going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is in the live chat, I am going to post the channel URL. So at the moment, there's 352 subscribers in there. So can we push that number in the upwards trajectory before we're very much older? That would be fantastic. And there's no excuse not to. Google says he's missed 2 penalties. Right, so that is a good conversion rate. So that's, again, let's get the old calculator out. Again, my maths is not wonderful. So if he scored 27 and missed 2, then he's obviously 27 divided by 29. So he's got a conversion rate of 93.10%. That is not too shabby. Although what I would like to know, and again, if you can find this information out, that's great. But the 2 that he didn't score, were they missed, i.e. he didn't hit the target, or were they saved? Because there is a fundamental difference for me, in my opinion. I know the end result is the same. It doesn't count as a goal. But at least I'm a big believer in what Matt Letitia said, and he had a fantastic record at converting penalties over the years. I think he was, 47 in 48 or something like that. And he only had 1 penalty in his entire career that he didn't convert. He did get that on target. Mark Crossley, the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper, saved it. But he turned around and said that as far as he's concerned, a professional footballer from 12 yards, dead ball, no defender, just you and the goalkeeper, a professional footballer should not miss the target. If the goalkeeper saves it, it is what it is, but the goalkeeper the penalty taker should not miss the target. And you are correct, that is a very good conversion rate. Now, Matt's got a question, so I'm going to do my best to answer it. And obviously, you guys that are in the live chat, please feel free to get stuck into it as well. Was selling Downs to Southampton for 18 million quid a bad move? In his humble opinion, yes, it is, due to Europa medal, Saint of the Year, and best midfielder last year in the champ. Only Saints wanted him. Rather give back JWP. Right. Okay. I would have loved Flynn Downs to stay on. I thought he was, when he was used, which wasn't as often as I would have liked him to be, he was used sometimes in the wrong position. I remember going to Old Trafford a couple of years ago, and he was played as the playmaker. He was the number 10, and that's never his position in a million years. So I do think he was let down by the manager at the time. But I think the fact of the matter is that, realistically, when you look at, we're going to have Alvarez, we're going to have Paquetá, we're going to have Rodriguez, we're going to have, I suspect, at least one of either Souček or JWP remaining at the club, and the other one I suspect will go. Would Flynn Downs get much game time? And I suspect, in all truth, with great regret, that the answer is he wouldn't. So for his career, then I think that regrettably he needed to go somewhere else. That's just me being really honest. I'd have loved it to be anything else, but it is what it is. Instagram says Nicholas Fullkrug has a penalty conversion ratio of 93%. There you go. Just done it. Out of 29 penalties he's taken through his career, he's only missed 2. Again, were they actually missed, Trodge? Can you find that out? I'd be really interested to know that. Or were they saved, basically? Mr. Singleton says, do you think we'll get Matt O'Reilly? I actually, if you go back to when I did Mount Matty Rushmore, and it might have been on the previous channel, that you might have to just sort of sneak into and have a little look and then, run for the hills again. I did a Mount Matty Rushmore with Ian Crocker, who is the Sky Sports Scottish football commentator, and he's a West Ham fan. And I interviewed him, and when we was off camera, we had a little chat. So I don't think that this is on the actual recording. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I'm pretty sure we did it afterwards, and I just had a nice little chat with him. Really nice guy. And I said to him, I said, is there any players in the Scottish leagues? Because obviously you're the commentator for Scottish football for Sky. You're watching it quite a lot. You know a lot of stuff. Is there anyone that you look at that you think could probably come to England and make it? And Matt O'Reilly was the guy he mentioned, and that was probably about 2 years ago. Decent, very, very good, very good player. Isn't he? Although his name's Matt O'Reilly, though, doesn't he play for Finland or something like that? I'm sure he does. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go on to Wikipedia, because I'm pretty sure that although he's got an Irish-sounding surname, but I'm pretty sure he's English born. I'm pretty sure that there we go. Right. Okay. So he was born in Hounslow. So he's a London boy. And Denmark. I knew it was some Scandinavian country like that. But Albie, am I going to be on West Ham Network this week? Yes, I am. In actual fact, I tell you what, let's give that a little bit of a plug, shall we? So West Ham Network, 9 p.m. on Thursday. There will be, let me find it, an episode. Hang on. I'm just going to have to take your comment off. Sorry, mate. An episode of The Big Debate, which again, you might remember from the previous channel that I used to inhabit, was a little concept that I came up with, which was essentially the West Ham United fan YouTube equivalent of Question Time. So basically what we do is, I'm the host, obviously, and what we do is we have 4 or 5 people on the panel. They will predominantly, but not exclusively, we have had non-West Ham fans on in the past, and we will obviously talk about whatever the questions are that come through. Now, here's the thing. You guys can help, and there's 30 of you that are watching right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press a couple of buttons, get rid of that, and I'm going to have the ticker running along the bottom, which obviously has all of the different methods of communication you can utilize to get your questions across. You could also just simply, there is actually on our YouTube channel in the community section, there is a little thing that I've put there. I think they've also got something on the West Ham Network as well, where they're asking for questions for that particular stream. So get your questions in. Another way you can do it, as well as just sort of like typing, you could also just take your phone and just do a 30-second video clip and ask your question that way. But basically, we all have a turn answering questions. Lasts about an hour. It's a good laugh. It's a good bit of fun, I think, anyway. But yes, that is definitely happening. Now, I've lost my place. So yeah, there was Albie's comment. Are you doing West Ham Network? Yes, I am. Please make sure you tune in. Troj, this is why the Germany manager told him to do the move. If he wants to feature in the 2026 World Cup, man, no sense. He absolutely does. I feel Wan-Bissaka possibly won't happen due to United being so hard to deal with. I think it will happen. It may happen later than maybe we'd like it, but I think that they want to get him out, because I think they want to get in that the guy that we were having a little tickle with, that Nuasir Mazraoui. Matt's coming with another question. I keep seeing Moyes in and out. Fans still arguing online. Thoughts, anyone? In my opinion, it's silly and pointless. 100%. I don't see why they're arguing. Moyes in, Moyes out. Well, he's out. Whether you want him in, whether you wanted him out, he is out. That's a fact. And, we've got the new guy in, and the best thing you can do is get behind him. And that's all there is to it. I kept reading that they need to sell in order to buy. Man United, that is, which is surprising. I've heard that one as well, mate. I've heard that as well. Sean Hammond, they need to sell if they want to buy. Their target begins with N. We went for him. Yeah, Nuasir Mazraoui early doors. It's Nuasir Mazraoui. Which Troj has gone in for. I'm surprised you're not on 1K before now, Rob. I think part of it, if I'm being honest, Kent, it was probably me where I pressed pause on the channel, and I did that for the right reasons. I did that because I felt it was the right thing to do. And obviously what happened then is instead of the channel going on the trajectory that it was on at that moment in time, which was obviously upwards, I obviously stopped what I was doing. People then thought, okay, he's not doing it, so they unsubscribed. Can't remember what I was on when I stopped. I know it was in the 500 and something subscribers. When I sort of restarted, I dropped down to 499. And as I say, at the minute, I am now on 714. Look, I get there when I get there, mate. You know, it is what it is. I'm not in a particular hurry. It is what it is. And I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing it for anything. I'm doing it for a little bit of recreation, a little bit of interaction with you guys. And I really do appreciate your time. Fresh, hope you are well. Yes, I've heard that about Skamaka. ACL injury, and he's had reconstructive surgery. Wish him the very best of luck. I'm guessing that's a thank you for me giving your channel a push. Not a problem, mate. Listen, you know, lots of people have helped me out over the years in a similar fashion. So I'm a big believer in the old saying of what goes around comes around. Another 4 or 5 players would be nice. I think that isn't going to happen. I think it's going to be, well, I think if we work upon the principle that Guido Rodriguez is done, it just hasn't been announced. I think it will be another 2 beyond that point. I think it will be a centre back. I think it will be a right back. Hopefully, it will at least be one of those 2. Luke says sub, so it better be good. I take YouTube very serious. I know you do. I know you do. I think you take it a little bit too seriously. I do as well, Sharky. That's a real bad injury. So hopefully he's okay. He'll be back soon, I'm sure. Yeah, I know the guy you're on about, hard to pronounce. Okay. Matt's coming with another question. He loves a question. What would you consider a successful season coming up? Right. Okay. Everybody's going to have a different answer. It will probably be broadly the same. So what I want, number one, I want the football to be more entertaining. I want it to be not able to send me off to sleep or almost off to sleep in a home game against Sheffield United or a team of that ilk, which is what happened last season. I kid you not. We were 2-0 up at half time, and in the second half, I was literally nodding off. I kid you not. So I'd like to have football that is more exciting to watch, that gets me on the edge of my seat and maybe gets me standing on my feet every now and again. Not that I sit down where I am. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what I would consider success along with that is I would like to see us knocking on the door of the European positions. And even if we ultimately fall short by finishing, say, 8th, I would be quite pleased with that. And a good cup run. And when I say a good cup run, to a semi-final, possibly beyond, who knows, but at least a semi-final in one of the 2 domestic cups. I don't care, League Cup, FA Cup, and God forbid if we actually made a final and actually won it, who knows. But that's what I would consider. So it'd be the style of the football. Oh, and another thing, also the implementation into the first team squad of players from the academy. I would like to see them being given more ample opportunities as and when the situation allows. And those situations did happen last season under David Moyes. It's just that he didn't utilize them. And what I mean by that is there were plenty of games during last season where the game was done. And whether that was we'd got the points in the bag or whether the opposition had, you know, you're 3-0 up, you're 3-0 down, you've got 10, 15 minutes to go. That game is finished. That game is done. Put a fork in it. It's done. These were opportunities where David Moyes could have turned to the bench and got a Divine Mubama or an Ollie Scholes or a Callum Marshall or couldn't have got Freddie Potts because he was obviously on loan, or Lewis Orford, George Earthy, and said, okay, kid, you know, there's no pressure on you. Just go on there. You go do. He didn't do it. So I'd like to see that as well. If we can do all of those things, or at least the majority of those things, and maybe sort of work on the others down the track, I would personally consider that a successful season. Shooting that leaves me typing it. Absolutely. Not as sorry as Skamaka not as sorry for Skamaka as Skamaka feels for Skamaka, Sharky. Try saying that after you've had a couple of rums. You're laughing, Sean. I tell you what, you have a couple of rums, mate, and you try getting that round your sort of like your tongue. Downs will pick up more yellows than Alvarez next season. 18 million is great business. I don't know. I mean, Alvarez does like a yellow card, it has to be said. Downs was man of the match in a couple of games where he didn't play as the central attacking midfield, but it was in Europe. Downs wasn't at the level we want. Unfortunately, no shame in that. Again, I think that possibly you're right. I think he will do well at Southampton. I really do. And I wish him the best of luck. Sometimes the piece of the jigsaw doesn't fit no matter how much you want it to. But I wish him the best of luck. Except in 2 matches next season, you can probably work out what they are. Kent comes in, says in Loppy's season, Flynn fits better than Big Tom and JWP, but the money was on the table and it was a business decision. Exactly that. I also think it was a career decision for Flynn Downs. I think despite the fact he was a West Ham fan, he probably saw the writing on the wall. He probably realised that he wasn't going to get much in the way of football. He just had a season in the Champ with Southampton where he played virtually every week. He was enjoying his football, and he probably thought, you know what, my heart says I want to stay, my head says I can't. And that's, your head has to rule. JWP was Moyes. Tim didn't want him. I believe it is when they first fell out. Well, since he's been in the fucking stadium, he's not been able, he's forgot how to take free kicks. But can't see how you judge Downs when he's a one-touch passing merchant. We've all got our opinions on these things. In Moyes' team, he says, Danish O'Reilly. Yeah, as I say, I knew it was Scandinavian. I couldn't remember. I thought it was Finnish. Who was it that played for Finland? It wasn't it Carl Jenkinson. I'm sure Carl Jenkinson played for... I'm going to check that. I'm pretty sure Carl Jenkinson was... I'm sure it was his mum. That was from Finland, and he played internationally for Finland. Yes, he did. He played at under 19s and under 21s level for Finland. He got one full England cap. It looks like he's now retired. He's 32, and it looks like he's now retired because it looks like he finished in Australia for Newcastle Jets. Who knew? So there you go. Just a little bit of a break off into a tangent. 18 mil seemed cheap after their manager was in the press about him. Says Trodge. Luke Legend, I have judged the situation, Troz, and you will accept my ruling, please. You don't need to say please. If you're giving out a ruling, you just give it, and you don't have to use your manners, do you? I don't think. I hope VAR is sped up this season and going forwards. Absolutely. I think that is one thing that we are probably all going to be aligned on. I'm pretty convinced. O'Reilly being looked at by Brighton by all accounts. He'll do well for them. West Ham Network is a great channel. It is. There's some, obviously I've known Russ and Anton for a little while now. Whenever we've dealt with each other, they've always been very, very respectful, very helpful, giving. And I'll tell you what, I'll share this little thing with you as an example. It was actually them that came to me with the idea of putting the big debate on the West Ham Network. And actually, it was before Christmas. That's how far that goes back. That idea goes back, the offer. But at the time, I just had too much on my plate. Now, there's more scope to sort of get involved with that. The plan is, I can probably tell you this, the plan is that we're going to do it once a month. The aim is to do it once a month on a Thursday, and it's aimed to be the second Thursday of the month. That's the plan. Now, we may on occasion have to alter things due to work commitments or family commitments or anything, either my end or theirs potentially. But that's the plan going forwards. Apart from Rice, we've always been crap at selling players. Dean Garner, I guess we did well, but that was Bilic going there. And Albie comes in, says, we definitely need a centre-back and a right-back. I 100% agree with that sentiment. Luke says, I'm surprised no one says we also need a left-back. I don't think we do. I don't think we do, because I think if this guy, Lopetegui, gives Ollie Scholes a run, then I think that, well, we've got 3 left backs then, haven't we? You've got the obvious one in Emerson, his backup, which is Cresswell, but then you've also got Ollie Scholes as well in a pinch. So I'm not quite sure that the need for a left back is as much as it is at right back. When you look at Vladimir Kufal, I just go, mate, any left winger is going to be licking their lips up against him. He's losing pace by the month. Top 8 and win the Betway Cup final. I'm not quite sure that there'll be many people there to witness the latter. Cup final would be nice. Winning even better. Absolutely. I think 7th, 8th will be a great finish in Loppy's first season. 100%. Early Door says, totally agree. We need to strengthen all position in defence. It's now our weakest area. Sean says, do you think we'll be looking at getting some loans in? Depends on the financials, Sean. If the financials mean that it's possible, then I guess it's something we could explore. But I think that we'll try and sort of get as much business as done. Permanent signings, I mean. Betway Cup is a poison chalice, Sharky. It builds expectation. Emerson is an okay defender, better going forwards, and Cresswell is done in Luke's opinion. Emerson was good until the Paquetá stuff came out. I think he did all right. Paquetá started the season on fire and then got injured and then scandalised. Early Doors says, just hope VAR follows on from the Euros, got more chance of being dealt with quickly. Oh, wait, that's our referee, so that means business as usual. Luke, can we have the VAR they used at the World Cup, please? And then he corrects himself to say he means the Euros. Albie comes in, says, do you think we would go back for Kyle Walker-Peters if Aaron Wan-Bissaka falls through? Could be a contingency plan. I don't know, though. Did he sign? I'm just going to check because I heard a whisper, but I don't know if it was confirmed, and that's not really helping me. Hang on a moment. Kyle, I was sure he signed an extension to his deal, didn't he? No, it's not bloody showing me. No, okay. I heard a whisper that he'd signed a new deal, which obviously means that his price is going to be bumped up. It's possible, absolutely possible, and I don't think it'd be a bad signing. One of the guys at work, he's a Saints season ticket holder, and he thinks he'd be a good fit for us, but we'll see. They apparently have signed a new right back, and he's in the last year of his deal, so at least he was, unless he has signed a new deal, which I suspect he might have done. VAR didn't help the Euros much. Kufal was like a ballerina versus Palace, and their first goal, shocking. I'm not even sure if he was that as good as shocking, Matt. I'll be perfectly honest with you. He was fucking abysmal, but at least it's 100 times quicker than a Prem's VAR. Yeah, not going to the game Saturday either. The owners are a piss take, pardon my language. You, mate, you're in a place where you can use that language. Absolutely not a problem. Checking a couple of teams got screwed. It's the truth, though, Sharky. Everyone's thinking the same. Bang on, Tony. He got offered a new deal. Not sure if he signed it or not. Carl Walker-Peters. There we go. That was what I was referring to earlier. How much are they charging? I take it you're on about the Betway Cup. Too fucking much is the answer to that, Luke. Denmark. What's that in reference to? Oh, you're about the VAR. Okay, fine. Right, guys, I'm going to disappear because number one, I need the toilet. Number two, my dinner's on the go. I can smell it wafting through. It's quite handy being married to a chef. It's really good. Anyway, right now, there are 25 of you watching live. I've got 28 likes. If any of you guys haven't put a like on the stream, please make sure you do that before you disappear. We're up to 716 subscribers now. As it says there on the old thing, please don't forget to like, comment on, share this stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're new around here. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. You'll get alerts on any new content as and when we add it to the channel. And the new guys that we've pulled in during the course of this stream, obviously you guys really appreciate it. As I say, if you can tell your mates that we're here and put us maybe onto your social media platforms, that would be absolutely amazing. Kent's coming. Yeah, he's got a year left. That's what I got told. As I say, I wasn't sure if he'd signed an extension. And we live in hope, Sharky. We live in hope. Anyway, I'm going to disappear, guys. Please don't forget as well, before we wrap it up, maybe even to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. Don't forget, and come on, you Irons, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
The West Ham Massive are pleased to support Iron Supporting Food Banks. They are a group of West Ham fans and friends inspired by the work of other football food banks around the country. They collect food and cash donations for a Newham food bank in Beckton, who supplies sub-distribution centres in the borough 7 days a week and hand out several hundred 3-day emergency food packs every month to families in need. They are also working with other groups to improve conditions for vulnerable adults and children in the Newham community. You can help by making a donation to their Just Giving page. You will find the link to this in the description section of the video details in this stream. Thanks for your support. Come on, you Irons.